NVIDIA CEO, billionaire, came out and stated to Joe Rogan just how much of the percentage of jobs in a major part of the workforce will be taken over by AI within 2 to 3 years. Wait till you hear this. This is bigger than what Elon has been talking about. This is bigger than what anyone else has been talking about. Now remember, NVIDIA is the microchip, the main supercomputer, the main force driving behind a lot of computing when it comes to AI. Wait till you hear what he states. And what will this do for our economy? What will this do for the American people who are working? It's during the Trump administration, 2 to 3 years. Wait till you hear this number. It's unbelievable. It's staggering. It actually blew Joe Rogan's mind. It blew his mind. And then we're going to discuss what Alex Jones just shared about Christians. How serious is it to be a Christian? Now, it's getting tougher in America, but we're going to discuss Canada, Ireland, Great Britain, all these people that are considered quote-unquote allies and believers in Christian faith. Wait till you hear what is happening right before our very eyes. Not just in those places, now in America. Alex Jones brings attention to it, and it should scare the living daylights out of us, especially if we are trying to live in freedom, independence, but most of all, in a Christian outlook. Also, we're going to discuss the dangers of this again. Not just what happened in 19. This goes back to the incentive programs. Do we honestly believe that things are given to us in a way that is truly wanting the best for us? Or is it just because, well, we get paid to share that information? Wait till you hear what is getting paid to your pediatricians, to your doctors. It's not because they believe in it, it's because they're making loads of money. And then lastly, we're going to go to something dealing with President Trump, what he stated about the Somalians, what he's actually coming forth and stating about the narco boats. Some of these things that they're trying to dismantle with Pete Hegseth, Trump comes out and says exactly what we all want. The question is, can he get things done with a worthless Congress? We'll dive into all these stories today. This video starts right now. Hey guys, welcome to our channel. Thank you so very much for being here. We are humbled again by your presence, and we hope that you get something out of our content. Because I hope our content not only brings attention to things, but to be honest with you, it just helps us say, okay, this is a common sense approach. What are we doing here? Oh wait, if things are getting this bad, then what should we be doing? So that's really what I hope that we get out of this channel for sure each and every day. So thank you so very much for being here. We're humbled by your support. Now let's jump into the stories of the day. First, let's talk about what Joe Rogan was interviewing Jensen Hung. And actually, I really like this interview. There's parts of it that was, it's kind of boring, but at the same time, this was a very good interview because of the things that came out, some revelations. Blew Joe Rogan's mind. But more than that, it should blow Americans' mind. And not only that, the world's mind. Because how safe is our job? There was a kid the other day that I knew that was going into be an engineer. And he was going to spend $30,000, $40,000 basically a year when it comes to where he was staying, schooling. And I told him, I said, is that a smart move when it comes to AI and the dangers of it? Is it going to take more jobs? Because some of the jobs that were getting hired, they were starting to lose some to AI. Listen to what Jensen Hung said about NVIDIA. And remember, NVIDIA is one of the most wealthiest companies in the world right now. And someone who knows AI and tech. Listen to this exchange with this billionaire. Rogan says, tell me a little bit more about robotics with AI. Jensen came out and says, in the future, maybe 2 or 3 years. 2 to 3 years now. That's 24 to 36 months. That is literally right upon us. 90% of the world's knowledge will be generated with AI. 90% of the world's knowledge. Blew Rogan's mind. He said, that's crazy. Hung said, I know, but it'll be just fine. Rogan said, but what about it is fine? Let me tell you why. Okay. Jensen says this. It's because what difference does it make that I am learning from a textbook that is generated by a bunch of people that I didn't know, or knowledge generated by AI computers that's assimilating, and all these informations and things are coming with so much more knowledge. I don't think there's a whole lot of difference when we look at AI in textbooks and knowledge from humans. Now, basically what's happening right here is saying that we're not going to need humans critically thinking anymore. We're not going to need humans working out problems anymore. We're not going to need humans solving problems anymore, doing things to make America better, to make the world better. We're going to look to computers to do that. What happens is when we start thinking that AI can do everything for us, then we actually lose the fact of understanding the value of thinking for ourselves, working hard, being entrepreneurs, and learning how to build the American dream. It says that 1 out of 4 men have no desire to build friendships anymore. 1 out of 8 men have no desire to work hard to provide for their family. What we're doing is we're building a lazy generation, and a generation that does not find value, hard works and ethics anymore, and values and morals anymore. We're looking for AI to solve all those problems. He said that the workforce, the way we think, the way we do life, 90% of it will be ran by robotics and AI in the next 2 to 3 years. What does that mean for the workforce? What does that mean for your paychecks? What does that mean for the dollar? What does that mean? You know, we talked the last few days about Snapchat, Meta, YouTube. We talked about all these other platforms that are starting to get and use AI data, and it's going to start going through your data more and more, especially through the month of December, to build its AI to know you better. What it does is it just scans and gets all your information. It ends up becoming a facet for blackmail. It becomes a facet for knowing everything about your life, to where you are not in control of your life anymore. What Jensen Hung is basically telling you is that you no longer are needed. AI will do it all for you. That looks a whole lot different than what Elon Musk and them are pushing for, saying that, well, AI is just going to make for robotics to be better, and that's going to make for better situations where people are going to earn a lot more money and be able to have more free time. Now, what it's going to do is going to end up putting us in a full control method of government control and a UBI system. Did you know that in some states right now they're working on rolling out certain plans? Even the Trump administration, this Congress, is working on certain plans to figure out, can UBI work? Is it something that is sustainable to just give people money and let them do nothing? See, what happens when we have idle hands and people not critically thinking and not actually desiring to work for themselves, to have morals, ethics, work, we become worthless. Sad. I try to teach my children every day that we need to work towards goals. We need to work towards allowances. We need to work towards, making ourselves better. Well, that takes building a character. Well, if we allow AI to all do it, then what are we going to be used for? Crazy. 90%? That's going to change America forever. Let's go to what Alex Jones just shared, and this kind of goes along with what's happening in Canada, what's happening in Ireland, and in Great Britain, and Australia, all these other places in the world. Now, again, remember, we're being infiltrated each and every day by religion that's getting all the passes in the world to do whatever it wants to do. Calls to prayer, doing Muslim prayers in school, Somalian prayers in school, but no. Christians can't do the same thing. Listen to what Alex Jones just shared. He said, here's a same video that we just uncovered that said and showed that a top Canadian minister calls for banning the Bible because he says it's hate speech against other religions. Now, this goes right after the fact that Canada becomes ground zero for globalist war. They're arresting people each and every day for representing the Bible and not other religions in Canada. Now, they're not arresting anybody else. You can go out there and portray any other religion you want to, but when you talk about the one true God and Jesus, the Bible, they're willing to arrest you for it and call you out for it. You don't believe me. Now, we talked about it. We know what happened, of course, during the situations with 2019 and 2020 when they tried to keep churches open, things like that. But listen to this. This just happened. Breaking in Canada. Pastor Derek Raymer arrested after refusing to go to a court-ordered apology because of things that he was choosing to say that is not real. Like, he can't call a man a woman. He can't say he's going to stand up for the rights of the LG alphabet. He was arrested because he chose not to give a public apology that Canada was making him do. Arrested right before his very eyes. By the police that are so-called to keep people, to have peace and order. The police that are supposed to protect us is actually working for the government to ultimately destroy the rights of these people. Now, you're like, well, that's Canada, Colby. What's that matter? Listen to what happened just in Ireland. Ireland was a representation of Christianity. Now it's being infiltrated by immigrants. Now they say it's becoming a Muslim country. But listen to what just happened today. This is unbelievable. This is something else Alex Jones shared. Today in Ireland, Christian schoolteacher Enoch Burke, look him up, was sentenced to life in prison for refusing to honor the pronouns of this kid in his class in 2022. It was considered a hate crime, and he is going to spend the rest of his life in prison behind bars for being a Christian school teacher. This is going to keep on happening. It's going to happen here. Did you know in Minnesota they're doing prayer rooms for Somalian students? They're doing calls to prayer in Dearborn, Michigan, and in Minnesota. Now, I thought they told us a long time ago that you had to separate religion out of public education. Take the Ten Commandments out. You can't do all that stuff. You can't pray over public school football games. You can't do all that. Teachers can't do all that. But then we can allow for other religions to do it. Here's the difference. Two things. Christians are showing weakness right here because they're not choosing to stand up for their faith. Secondly, when we do, you're realizing the one true God is the one that they're scared of the most. All these other religions are going to cause for, it's going to cause for damage and problems for our countries. Again, name all the third world countries that we're importing these people from. Most of them are countries that are not Christian, and they have turmoil, fights, civil wars, all these issues, and we want to import that here in America. This goes along with this next story, what Trump said about Somalia, and I think he makes a great point, and this is what we voted for. This is what we voted for. He says this, I don't understand why we put emphasis on wanting these third world people here in our country. He says basically the Somalis, it's just a garbage situation. Now, was he just defaming these people and calling these people terrible people? I mean, pretty much, yeah. But what he was saying is, we're importing these people from all over the world that they caused turmoil in the Middle East. They caused turmoil in North Africa. They caused turmoil in their own areas with tribal warfare. They've not done anything better for themselves in these countries, and why would we want to import them here? He's calling to send everybody out. He's calling for bans of third world countries for sending their people because he said, why do we want them here? Why are we wanting to import these people here? It's a great thought. Why do we want to bring people here that's going to make things harder for us and not make any life better for us? We're not importing the very best among the world. We're importing third world countries. It makes no sense. It makes absolutely no sense. And that's what I don't understand is when we see that what's happening is like $1 billion worth of waste that's happening in Minnesota. We hear about the situations where Democrats are fighting harder for the third world country people that are here illegally or legally on the government dole instead of fighting for American people. And Trump is calling their hand at it. Listen, this is something else that just took place. And again, I can't express my passion to support Trump and Hegseth enough. I mean, even Alex Jones shared this too, that there's like a war against Hegseth right now because of what the Department of Defense is doing, what Trump is doing with these narco boats. We have Democrats pushing to save the people that are getting taken out by the Department of Defense for bringing drugs to America. And they're upset. Listen to this, what this reporter said. It's found that there may be some survivors on these boats that you're bombing. And I mean, shouldn't Pete Hegseth and some of these admirals and the military, they should be punished for this, for what they're doing to these drug traffickers. These reporters are like so upset, like the Democrats, they're so upset that these people are getting bombed that are wanting to bring drugs to America. I love what Trump says here. Listen to this. Love it. He says, I think you're going to find out very soon this is war. He said, very soon you're going to see we're going to do this on land too. He called it and doubled down and said, look, we're not going to allow for this stuff to keep on happening on our shores. And if we have to go into the cartels of Mexico, that's basically what he's stating. And in Venezuela, we're going to go in and we're going to destroy these places because this stuff is destroying our cities. Again, when we import bad things to America, things are not going to get better. We don't need more drugs in America. That's not making life better for us, is it? It's not. So the reporters, Democrats, senators, they're fighting more for narco-terrorist boats than they are for Americans. And they're upset that we're actually trying to save things for America? Trump, these two things were dead on. I mean, they were spot on. Why do we want to keep importing the third world and hoping for a better situation and outcome? For thousands of years, they've been a third world country. Why do we think it's going to get any better by bringing them here? And then for the people that are coming here, bringing illicit things that shouldn't be here, that's causing problems for our city, let's take them out at the source. And I'm tired for the Democrats wanting to fight for them and not the American people. That story just came out, and this was shared by Wall Street Map. It says pediatricians receive bonuses when they kind of motivate going into their family. So instead of thinking for health for people and really pushing for lifestyle changes, pushing for nature, pushing for natural immunities, pushing for things that you would think that doctors would push for, is God gives us all this wonderful earth and wonderful food to actually make our lives better. Instead of actually pushing for lifestyle changes, they say, let's just push, pharma. Listen to this. It says, the incentives and bonuses that pediatricians are getting right now is $200 to $600 per child, per thing. Right here, stick. Some earning $1 million annually. Doctors are not worried about trying for lifestyle changes and trying to make sure to teach parents the right way. What they're doing is they're looking at health of not only the oldest among us, but even the youngest. In a shocking Senate hearing today, Ron Johnson, Polly Tommey, and Dr. Brad Hooker revealed how pediatricians receive financial rewards for promoting all of this instead of trying to help parental rights and ethical medical standards. It was all about money. If parents refuse to do some of this and give some of this stuff, they can be turned in by the pediatrician. However, pediatricians, instead of actually wanting the best for everyone, they don't care the ramifications and the side effects. They're carrying the fact that they can make millions of dollars each and every year for pushing this on people. Now, again, this would be like a sponsorship situation. It's kind of like I tell you about the senators, how they vote. We should know who they're sponsored by and who they're voting for with their lobbyists. Well, the doctors are the same way. Are the doctors actually looking out for your well-being, or are they just looking to pad their pockets with their sponsors, with the people giving them bonuses? You go to work every day. You wouldn't just work for free. You work because you're incentivized. You get paid, right? So you're going to work hard for your boss. Well, are you working for the health of the people that you're serving as a doctor, as a hospital? Or are you working for the fact of who's giving you the big bonuses? $1 million annually can make a big deal, and you'll kind of look the other way on a lot of things that you may not believe in, especially if there's millions of dollars flowing to you. That was just revealed. So think of all the things that the FDA and USDA and the doctors have been telling you for so long. What's healthy and what's not? You're finding out that seed oils are not good. Well, we've been paid to push this propaganda. We've been paid to push this medicine because it's good for you. Well, it's not actually good for you. It's just they're getting paid for it. They're sponsored by it. It's kind of like this channel. I do ads and I do sponsorships. If I don't believe in something, I'm not going to share it. There's so many times that I could have shared crypto or could have shared all these things each and every day to tell you to buy this or do this, but the product I didn't believe in. So I told the people no. Well, that could have cost me some money. Yeah, it did. But if I didn't believe in it, why do I want to tell you to buy something that I didn't believe in? When you get down to it, pediatricians are doing the same thing. They're telling you to do something they may not believe in, but it's because there's a lot riding on it. I think politicians doing the same thing. Businesses doing the same thing. Not looking out for the best of America, looking out for the best of the pocketbook. Whew. Lots happening. I wonder if politicians do that each and every day. Who are they working for? Who are they actually honoring when the American people are struggling and somehow these politicians are getting filthy rich? Millions of dollars a year. It's kind of a bigger story than just about the pediatricians. Guys, let me know your thoughts on today's video. I mean, when you think about what is happening with the chips and what Jensen Hung said about 90% of our life will be completely entangled, encapsulated with AI and robotics and AI generation within 2 years to 3 years. That is crazy. Critical thinking won't be important anymore. Working hard and having a work ethic won't be important anymore. What's going to happen? It's control elements. From what Alex Jones shared about the Christians, if we're not serious, Christians, you better wake up and change what is happening across the world, because we're going to have sweeping revivals or sweeping control and loss of our Bible. And that's not good. Pay attention to these stories, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful day. God bless.
Yeah, be free.